So my name's Tracy Myers. I own 2 car dealerships in North Carolina, Buy Here, Pay Here, and deep subprime. So they're very close cousins. Also had new car stores and import stores. Nothing I like better though than marketing to subprime, deep subprime, and Buy Here, Pay Here customers. They asked me to speak today on managing social media in a smaller operation. I also work with 33 dealerships across the country, not just in social media, but primarily social media, primarily Facebook, because to me, that right now is where you can get the most impact for your ad dollar. Bottom line, bar none. I'll give you some facts about that just a little bit later in the presentation. You'll find out really quick if you've never heard me speak before. Full disclaimer, my presentation on the screen is a really rough guideline. If I'm talking about something totally different, just focus on me and don't look at that, right? Because my brain works faster than my mouth in most cases. I guess that's why I'm a good salesperson, but we're good, right? We'll be interactive. If you got a question, input, you want to leave, all that's good with me. Raise your hand, jump in, all right? Same page. First of all, I don't like the term social media anymore because isn't all social media just media now? If you think about it, where do we get our news? Social media, Facebook, Twitter, in some cases, Instagram. I know my kids who are 14 and 17, they get all of their news via quote unquote social media. They don't watch the news, they don't read the newspaper, they get it online. So it's technically just media now. I guess we still call it social media so we can differentiate between the two. I prefer traditional or offline online marketing, to be quite frank with you. I don't think there's really any other separation now than online or offline. But nonetheless, how do you manage in a dealership of any size? You have to start with a plan. It really doesn't matter if you're selling 10 cars a month, you're selling 110 cars a month, you're selling 500 cars a month. Without a plan, you're going to fail. The first thing you need to do, if you haven't done it already, to be successful in any media, especially social media, which is what we're talking about today, is create a social media calendar. You can Google social media calendar or blank social media calendar, and you'll find millions, literally, that you can download and fill in for free online. If that doesn't work for you, use an Excel spreadsheet. If that doesn't work for you, pull out the yellow legal pad, date it, and go to work. I handle all the social media at all of my stores, and I'm here. I've been here, and I came from speaking at another conference in Virginia. So how's the social media working still if I do all the social media? I created a calendar, and I'll show you tools that I use to make sure that that's still being triggered while I'm away. Oh my God, that would be brilliant, right? So I'm not in the middle of a car deal, and I forget to post at 2:15. So do I just skip it? No, it's already planned. I don't really have to think about it. There are tools that help you do that. And I'm going to share with you what those are and what I use. Set social media goals and objectives. Since the beginning of social media, people say, well, it's free, and I'll just share this post, or I'll just put this picture of this car on my social media page. And when I say that, I'm primarily talking about Facebook, because once again, and I'll say this several times during the presentation, Facebook right now is a large ocean, everything else is a pond. Make no mistake about that. All right, as far as social media is concerned anyway, and as far as marketing on social media. Well, other avenues, are there other people on other avenues? Absolutely. Does it matter what your demographic is? Absolutely. However, there are more people on Facebook than most other social media platforms combined. So that's really where you need to be. I recommend using the SMART framework. That's an acronym. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. That's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And the biggest mistake that most people make when they're marketing or using social media is they go for likes. They don't go for conversion. We're in the money-making business. I assume we're all in the money-making business, right? Likes are good, but it's not a popularity contest, folks. It's a business. You're here to convert people to customers and followers so you can either market to them or sell them something. Forget the likes. Likes are cool. They give you warm and fuzzies. But our brain's been trained that likes equals money, and it doesn't. We shared a video, or I say we, I shared a video on one of our dealership pages 3 weeks ago. It wasn't scheduled content because most scheduled content has to be evergreen, which means it's good forever or almost forever, right? But if something timely comes up, you have to share it in the moment. Does that make sense? If you don't share it in the moment, it's not timely anymore. So I saw a really cool post about a full-size kid car. You know, remember the little red kid car, plastic ones with the yellow roof that most of us, I had one, right? They made a full-size version of those with a motor, and they go up to like 80 miles an hour. I said, oh, that's pretty cool. I shared it. I changed nothing. I took the link, put it on the page, and said, oh, this is cool. How many people would like to own something like this? It went nuts. I got like 87 shares, organic shares, didn't pay a dime for it. I got 133 likes, and it made me zero money. I felt really good at the end of the day. I was showing everybody. I was taking screenshots and said, look at this. This is so cool. I've never had this much organic conversion ever. How much money did it make you? I hate you. It made me zero money. But you have to have that as well. It's a good mix, but you're worried more about the conversions than the likes. Research. If you're buying cars, you research what cars you're buying. You research what you got to pay for it. You research what it's bringing at the auction. You got researching how much recon is going to be. You're researching how much you're going to ask for it. But you're not researching what you're putting on social media. Oh, this looks cool. And make no mistake about it, we all do that to a degree in the beginning, and sometimes we research and it still fails. But guess what? We buy cars that we sell and we lose money on too. Or am I the only one that does that? It happens, right? Or you buy one that blows up and it drove great at the auction, right? It looked good online. It scored great. But research what you're actually posting. Decide which platforms are right for you, and more specifically, right for your customers. Who's your customer? Do you know who your customer is? Have you done a static? I don't guess that will be a static pool. Have you looked at your data to see who your customer actually is? It scares me because I've asked hundreds of dealers that question over the years. Well, yeah, you know, kind of this, kind of that. No, who is your customer? This is data. How old are they? Are they men? Are they women? Do they all speak English? How much money do they make? What kind of cars do they buy? What cars sit on your lot longer than others? With data the way it is today, there's no reason for you not to know exactly who your customer is. And guess what? Those clues will point you to exactly what social media platforms they prefer. And that may sound crazy, but all that's under a little thing called Google. If you hadn't heard about it, Google it. And Google will tell you all about Google. They'll tell you what platforms people use and what they prefer. Any wild guesses who uses Facebook more than anyone else? Baby boomers? How about millennials? Do millennials use Facebook? 82% of millennials still use Facebook. Biggest misconception about Facebook is millennials don't use Facebook. 82% of millennials still use Facebook every single day. The question is why? Because I was told, all the research I did was they're moving away because grandma and grandpa got on there, right? They got grandma and grandpa me, and then they got me that's going out on the weekends me. They don't want grandma and grandpa to see that I'm going out on the weekends me, right? But grandma and grandpa said, hey, why aren't you on Facebook anymore? I miss those cute pictures of your puppy. Okay, well, I've got Facebook me, and on Snapchat, I'll have weekend me. It's the truth. It is true, absolutely, with certain segments of the population. You get to a certain age, it don't make two flips, right? We don't care. But certain age groups do care, and you need to know who your customer is, because if you don't know who your customer is, it doesn't matter what you're focusing on here. Huge tip. This is a writer-downer. if you don't enjoy the platform that you're using, you're probably going to fail at it. I love Facebook. I truly enjoy working within Facebook. I enjoy using Facebook for collections. Ooh, man, if you're not using Facebook for collections, you are missing out. I find my collections folks come to me and say, I can't find this person. They skipped. 30 minutes later, social media, guess what? Well, guess what? They were at the Piggly Wiggly. I'm from the South, so there's Piggly Wigglies. They were at the Piggly Wiggly 22 minutes ago. They checked in. Or they checked in at the movie theater, or they checked in at Popeyes, or wherever they checked in, there's where your car is at. And it's not just about Facebook when you're using it for collections, by the way. You've got to figure out who uses what for what. For example, YouTube. YouTube is the largest video search engine in the world, bar none. Who owns YouTube? Who? Google. Facebook, YouTube, Google, they don't like each other. Google and Facebook, they hate each other. It's like Superman and, kryptonite, literally. So they don't play well together. However, you got YouTube. People spend hours and hours and hours watching videos on YouTube. Is YouTube considered social media to you? It is to me. It is to my 17-year-old son. My 17-year-old son hasn't turned on a regular television to watch regular TV maybe ever, literally. Everything is on Apple TV, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu. It's all streaming platform, right? But when he's eating his breakfast in the morning with those stupid little earbuds in, which I have too, by the way, but they are kind of goofy looking, all right? I made fun of him for 6 months before I got some, but I've got some. But he's sitting there and he's laughing and spitting cereal everywhere. He's a typical 17-year-old boy. He's laughing out loud, and I look over his shoulder. He's watching videos on YouTube. What did I watch growing up? Gilligan's Island on TV. Some of you have no idea what Gilligan's Island is, but it was on reruns on television in the morning. Before that, it was Captain Kangaroo, but it was on the television. Gang, it hasn't really changed, meaning when I was 17, I was watching television, getting ready for school in the morning. My mom was yelling and screaming at me, right, because I'm taking too long, because I'm infatuated with the television. Fast forward, I'm screaming at my 17-year-old son because he's sitting there watching videos on his phone, a video coming from YouTube. The delivery's just different. That mindset really hadn't changed. I'm 48. I was a television baby. If the TV could be on, it was on in my house, and I was the one watching it, right? So we fussed at our kids. I think I turned out okay, right? So I tell my wife, lay off the kid a little bit. I watched 47 hours of TV every single day for most of my life until I had to get a job. New social media platform for you to make an asterisk beside of and look it up and see if it's something you might enjoy, because it's huge now. But we're not there, most of us, because we're older, we're entrepreneurs. That seems silly. I don't get it. But TikTok, even the name's ridiculous. TikTok. You need to be there. I said the same thing, and not that I'm a prophet, but I said the same thing about Instagram. I said the same thing about Snapchat, and all those were legit. All the signs are pointing towards TikTok being the next big social media platform. Your kids, if you have kids, they're already there. You don't know they're there, but they're there. What can you do with it? Well, we can't go into all of it in 45 minutes or whatever the time frame is that we have here, but I would strongly recommend that you look up TikTok for little short bursts of videos. Short videos are where it's at right now. We're focused on, 3 and 4 minute videos, and that's what I was taught. And this is where I go off the slide presentation altogether. I'll go ahead and tell you because my brain's already working, right? I was taught just a few years ago that the average length of video for organic search was how long? 2 minutes or less, right? That was only 2 years ago. What is YouTube now saying indexes organically, and organically means free? What's the time limit now? 3 minutes. So all those 2 minute videos that I made over 2 years, 2 minutes or less, because 2:1, you got penalized. That's how quickly this stuff changes. Now they're saying, 3 minutes. Because they have data. They have research. People have said, I like 3 minutes. 3 minutes is good. Okay, we'll go to 3. Boom. Now I got to change. Are you kidding me? I'm too old to change. You got to change. You know what works better on Facebook? And this is where the difference in the platforms really blow your mind, right? 6 to 8 seconds. So you're making these 3-minute videos for YouTube, you repurpose them for Facebook, and nobody sees them. For various reasons, by the way. The biggest reason is Facebook wants you to pay for everything. Hands down. Anyone who says Facebook isn't pay to play right now, they're really misleading you. Can your content go organic and be successful? Yeah, absolutely. Like my stupid little car video that I shared. Didn't make me any money, but I can also show you 400 other videos that I posted to Facebook that had 3 views and 1 like. And one of those likes was from me. The other was from my wife. That made me 0 money, and it hurt my feelings, okay? But TikTok is a game changer, and Instagram. We have one of the most visually stimulating industries of any industry, minus maybe food. Agreed? We sell cars. So, well, we're in buy here, pay here. Man, nobody wants a picture of a Taurus. Okay, all right. Granted, you're correct. Ford doesn't even want pictures of Tauruses. However, you have faces, you have people within your staff, you have people celebrating birthdays. Hopefully you're celebrating those birthdays if you have staff members, right? Take pictures of that stuff, and I'll show you some examples of that in just a moment. So I don't know if you can see this or not, so we'll walk through this really quick. Similar shares of Gen Xers and millennials now using Facebook. Boomers are growing fast. Can you see this chart? All right, look, going from 2012 to 2018, you got the boomers, millennials, and Gen X. Look at the 76%, 82%. Boomers are at 59%. Millennials is the highest. And if you ask most people who do anything with social media whatsoever, they'll say millennials aren't on Facebook at all, and they're the highest category on Facebook. Now, you'll find out when you get born born 45 and earlier, grandma and grandpa, they're on Facebook, but they're creepers, meaning they don't really post anything. They just like to look at all the stuff. And when they do post something, you ever seen the older people that are talking to somebody on Facebook on their wall, and they're like, hey, how are you? But it's like on their wall. It's like, who are you talking to? My mom's not that old, but my mom does it all the time. I meant to call you yesterday, and it's on her wall. I'm like, who are you talking to? Number 3, know your customers. One thing that social media allows you to do that no other media does is micro-target your audience, especially Facebook. The others are good, but nobody allows you to target like Facebook does. Show of hands, how many actually looked at the back-end tool of Facebook? Not nearly enough, right? Go to the back-end tool and you can select income, you can select the area, you can select man, woman, you can select interests. Now, if you select cars as an interest, that's probably a collector. So be careful. But look, if I've got a surplus of minivans, this is a weird example. Surplus of minivans. Let's stereotype for a minute. I want to market to new parents. Might not be a bad market to target, would it? If I wanted to market to new parents with limited income, I can't pick credit, but limited income, I can do that. If I wanted to create an ad that appealed more to women or more to men and young parents, we can even do that, whether it's video or photo. Doesn't matter. You can do both that. Once you own your niche, then you can move on to and experiment with other niches. One huge mistake I see all the time is people trying to, I'm going to be all things to all people, market to everybody. You can't do that. And you shouldn't do that buy here, pay here. It's crazy. If you go on there and blanket everybody in a 15-mile radius, you're automatically hitting, you're negating everything that's great about social media marketing. Why would you target anybody making $150,000 a year? They're probably not your customer. If you've got customers in the buy here, pay here segment that are making $150,000 a year, I might open a store in your market. Let me know where that's at. Number 4, social media allows you to be social and allows you to communicate with your customers one-on-one. When I say that, you can probably pick a company, nationally or locally, that does a great job of this. When I say that, if you're on social media at all. Can you give me one? I'll show you a couple. I bet you, oh yeah, I've seen that before. By the way, 93% of people who follow small businesses on Twitter plan to purchase from the small businesses they follow. Let me back that up. 93% of people that follow small businesses on Twitter plan on purchasing from that small business that they follow. 93%. Now, Twitter, I like to flip through Twitter. I like to read the feeds on Twitter. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I spend a lot of money on Twitter. I got 0 traction on Twitter. And I really invested a lot of time and effort into it. And I generated 0. So I stopped. And I didn't enjoy it anymore. So if I don't enjoy it, my results were going to be fruitless anyway over a period of time, if that makes sense, right? But like I said earlier, if you don't enjoy that platform and that's the platform that would work for your demographic, then hire somebody to do it. Is really a strong recommendation. All right, so you've heard of Casper mattresses? That's those weird little anybody got one of these things, by the way? You like it? Kind of? Yeah, and that's a sincere question because God knows I see them roll them things out and they deliver in an envelope that's like, it just keeps unfolding. I don't know. We'll talk later. Casper is fantastic with their social media interaction. I would encourage you to follow them just to see how they do this. Dear mattress in a box companies, please make a more affordable mattress. I am broke and sleeping on an air mattress that deflated as I lay on it. Okay, thank you. Sincerely, someone who had to throw out their last mattress because of fleas. P.S. Please sponsor me. Now, whether that's a sincere tweet or not, or somebody just trying to be funny, we don't know. But it doesn't matter because guess who came to the rescue? Casper. And that tweet is not necessarily for that person to read. That tweet's for everybody else to read. It's kind of like responding to negative reviews, which is another topic altogether. You don't respond to negative reviews for the person that wrote the review. You respond for everybody else that reads the review, right? Dear Michelle, have you seen this link or this? Casper.com/financing. They mention affordable. Sincerely, a mattress that really, whatever they said. Another one, Wendy's. Wendy's is my absolute favorite, hands down. Probably because they make wrestling references. I love pro wrestling. Oh, God, I said it out loud. Sorry. Wendy's, your chocolate milkshake is overrated. I've seen better. Wendy's said it's not a milkshake, it's a Frosty. Put some respect on its name. There are people actually come at them sarcastically because they know they'll respond back and just burn them. It's awesome. They'll burn McDonald's, they'll burn Burger King, they'll burn their competition, and they have a little friendly back and forth. Sometimes it's not so friendly, but it's awesome, and they're not paying, who runs that social media account, they don't pay them nearly enough because they're awesome. But the point is, you can directly talk to your customers without ever seeing your customer. And if we had told anybody that 25 years ago, other than a phone, you'd say, no, you're crazy. That can't happen. They don't know each other, but they're building relationships. And that is a way to build relationships, and probably one of the preferred way of building relationships anymore. Number 5, expand your audience. Who would like to expand their audience? Anybody? Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Some examples of how to do that, because this is all about how. Advertise using Facebook targeting options, which we already talked about, and geo-search streams in Twitter. So I'll give you a quick example. On Twitter, I searched the hashtag for my competition, especially service competition. You know what people love to do on Twitter? Complain. and this is not a slam on Jiffy Lube because I don't personally know anyone at Jiffy Lube, but Jiffy Lube is one of my hashtags that I search. And there's a Jiffy Lube 4 miles up the road. And when somebody says, I just went to Jiffy Lube and they left my oil plug out and they suck. When my phone buzzes, I look at it and say, sorry to hear that about Jiffy Lube. Next time you need an oil change, come to Frank Myers Auto. I'll give you a free oil change. And if you want to come by now, I'll be sure to wash off the bottom of your car because there's obviously oil everywhere. Also put your new oil plug in, and that's instant. That happens with the Twitter, the geo, because you can geo-target that, meaning I can get in a 15-mile radius, 20-mile radius, 10-mile radius, it doesn't matter, depending on what size your market is. We live in a 500,000-ish people, but I use Hootsuite to keep up with my geo terms. Hootsuite is a tool that you want to look at if you want to know how to manage this, which is what this whole thing's about anyway. How do you do it at a smaller place? Hootsuite. You can actually geo-target those terms and create streams for each term. So you'll say, okay, nothing here on Jiffy Lube, nothing here on this deal, nothing here on this deal. Oop, there's somebody unhappy with their experience at this car dealership. By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, sorry you had a bad experience at ABC Motors. Please give us a try to, whatever. You get the point, hopefully, right? That's how you expand your audience. Share interesting visuals. I gotta go. So I'm gonna go faster. People are 3 times more likely to engage with a tweet that has a compelling photo. So at our main store, well, I hate to call it our main store, at our traditional retail store, our thing is the red, white, and blue and the hats, and we give hats to everybody, and that's our delivery process, right? So since it's the red, white, and blue, such a stunning visual, I love making those photos black and white and popping the red, white, and blue. That's an app. It takes me about 7 seconds to make that whole thing and do it with my finger, and I look like I'm drawing with my finger, but that's cool. That photo, for example, of nobody that knows anybody in that photo got shared 93 times. I don't know why. Was it the color? Was it the people? Was it the faces? I don't know. It's just, and her eyes are closed. She hates it because, that's Jessica. She's one of our best salespeople, by the way. She hates it because she said, my eyes are closed, my mouth's open. I was like, yeah, but 93 people saw that. But that's not good to her, but that's good to me. Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat users are hungry for content that looks good. They're visual mediums, and you have to know that. If you're posting just text on Twitter, you're probably failing. You know what they hate on Instagram? You know what the purists on Instagram hate? Video. But you can post video there. I've had some success with video on Instagram, but the Instagram purists hate video on Instagram because it was a photograph platform. Oh, what are you doing with that video over here? That's why we came here, to get away from all that freaking video. That's kind of the way they feel about it. We didn't even mention Pinterest. However, Pinterest still has some strong SEO qualities if it's done right and you create the albums the right way, but Pinterest is another rabbit hole. If you got to focus on one, focus on Facebook. But I would strongly look at Pinterest as well. We have things albums we posted with certain cars 7, 8 years ago, and they're indexing now from Pinterest. I don't know why. Did the algorithm change? I have no clue. I have nobody to call and ask. I don't care. That's good. So let's put more. That's kind of the way I look at that, right? This particular photo was made using the latest iPhone, an Instagram filter, the app Typorama, which sounds really strange, right? And Color Blast is the name. So I'm using 3 apps to get this one effect. So it's I've got a list at the end actually, but a lot of people, oh man, how'd you do that? I can't get that effect. Well, no, I did the effect in Instagram. I went black and white, popped it, went to another, did the color, went to another, put the words on it, and literally I can do that in 30 seconds. But it took me about 9 days, the first one I did. But it isn't like anything else, like playing an instrument. If anybody plays guitar, when I was learning to play guitar, which I still don't play very well, but when I can do it better now than I did, first time I'm playing, man, I'm quitting this. This is horrible. I've got to do these scales over and over and over. My God, I'm so slow. Well, now I'm like twice as fast, but I practiced. You probably weren't very good at selling cars the first time you sold cars either. More pictures, So that's obviously a product on the left, but it's a little different, right? It's not just the car. And those are actual people on the right. And they didn't buy cars from us. Those are team members. They celebrated their 1-year anniversary. That's about 2 years old now. But nonetheless, people liked, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. They celebrate, these must be good people. They celebrate their people. Don't we all want to associate with people that celebrate their people? That must mean you're good people. But the worst thing you can do on any type of media, especially social media, because people go there to be social and to talk and to see jokes and to complain about the president and politics and sports teams and wrestling, and there's very, very little positive stuff on social media. They don't go to see cars. If you've got a company, and God, I hope this is none of you, if you've got a company feeding inventory to your business page, Facebook page, stop it. Just walk out, call them now. I'll wait for you to get back. Say, stop that. I'm not talking about Marketplace. That's what Marketplace is for. But if you got that feed rolling to your Twitter or your Facebook company page or even your personal page, stop it. Because they're going to unfollow you or block you or both. You're going to have the anti-effect. Oh my God, if I see another car from this person. This is insanely important in almost anything we do, really, but especially social media. Quality over quantity. So many people are focused on 97 posts per day. Facebook algorithm would rather see one good post a day that gets engagement. They'd rather see a post every other day that gets engagement, or 3 times a week that gets engagement. I would recommend once a day, just to stay consistent, by the way. There's no science to that. However, you want people to know you're there. And Google this, because it's not on any of the presentation, of when people in certain social media platforms are most active. You want your stuff there when the most eyeballs are on it. And it's different. It's different for Facebook. When do you think the most used time for Facebook is? What time? Huh? No. Noon's actually good. When do you take your first break? 10:15? I don't know about your store. We get there about 8:30-ish. Have our sales training, move the lot around, whatever we're going to do, get to work. 10:15, 10:30's first smoke break, first bathroom break, right? Or in regular jobs, where there's a format, 10:15, 10:30. It's Facebook. That's when the most eyeballs are on it. And matter of fact, you can stand on a desk in our showroom at our main retail store, and at 10:15, 10:30, man, everybody's, I got to bring my phone out now. But every platform has a different peak time. Figure out what that time is. And that's the best time to post, obviously. If it's a paid post, it really doesn't matter. They're going to make sure it's seen if you're paying for it. All right? Use the right tools. Huge mistake. Social media is not a broadcasting platform. If you've been in the business for any length of time whatsoever, you used to radio, television, radio, TV, what are those? Those are broadcasting platforms, right? You broadcast your message. That's not what social media is. You want to make sure that you can keep all your mentions and messages on one dashboard without having to log into multiple accounts. And that's the one complaint. Oh, how do I keep up with all this? Just me. How do I keep up with all these passwords? Don't tell me you have the same password for everything, even though I know you do. Hootsuite is my tool of choice. I love the analytics in Hootsuite. I can keep up with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. If I'm using that, that's a different thing altogether. Almost everything except TikTok, but you can't, once you see TikTok, you can't do any of this in TikTok anyway. It's a different type platform, and you can't push to YouTube. But nonetheless, Hootsuite lets you see it all, one screen, schedule it, add new things. Oh man, this is pretty cool, instant. You can still use it from there. You don't have to schedule it, and there's a free platform. You can get, used to be 4 streams for free. I've got like 9, so I have to pay, but it's still only like $9.99 a month. Quite frankly, unless you're advanced, you shouldn't use over 3 or 4 streams anyway. Use the right tools. Manage your engagement. Look at analytics. Hootsuite has amazing analytics. If you don't go with something like Hootsuite, Facebook has as good, if not more robust than Google Analytics do. They are fantastic. Graphics. Give you a list of things I use for graphics that I showed you earlier. Content curation, is that the right way you say that? Taking everybody's content and putting it in one place, right? Sometimes you don't have an idea, or you don't have content. Curation is important. There are services that provide that, and that'd be huge for what you do on a day-to-day, especially when you run out of ideas. Two things: in-depth reports for social media. Brand Watch is another one. Analytics from Brand Watch is amazing. Why do you need all these analytics at social media? Why do I need that with Facebook? Because you're investing your time to do it. If your time's not worth, if there's not a monetary value on your time, you're probably doing everything you're doing wrong. My time's valuable standing here. It's worth, I've got a dollar amount on my time to be here. Everything you do, there should be a dollar amount on it, right? So social media is free. Well, it's free to go and watch, but really to play anymore and to be seen, you got to pay. And that's the fact of the matter. If you're relying on organic, anything, especially on Facebook, to move the needle, you're going to fail. So go ahead and take those expectations off the table. It's not going to work. There's nothing you can do because Facebook owns you. Facebook knows everything. They trained us to go there every day, and then they said, oh, guess what? We got you. Now you got to pay for it. It's true. That's how they make money. You know, all those years it was free, and we didn't have, and I remember we could post something on Facebook, and you'd get all these shares, and you could actually get engagement. It didn't cost a dime. That's probably 6-7 years ago. They got us hooked. You know what they got us hooked on 2 years ago? What's the most annoying thing you can think of on Facebook? Facebook Live. I like ads. I'm a marketing guy, so I love ads. I actually watch commercials. My family was like, what are you doing? Can you fast forward through these? My wife's like, I'm like, no, I want to see these commercials. Facebook Live. How many of you have a friend that goes on Facebook Live and says nothing? You know, oh, why do they keep doing that? Yes. Yes, thank you for being honest. I got a cousin that does it. I'm like, bro, please don't do that. I don't care I don't care. Just stop. You have nothing to say. When Facebook Live came out, and even now, organically, everybody sees it. They wanted to get you accustomed to it, to get that part of what they do. You remember you got the notification, so-and-so just went live, right? To condition your brain, and then one day that organic is going to do what? Boop, they're going to pull the rug out, and then you're going to have to pay for it. That's I don't know for a fact that's what they're going to do, but that's historically what they've done, and it's okay. It's all right. They're just a little bit smarter than the average bear. This is what Hootsuite looks like when you're scheduling your content. It's super easy. That may look like Swahili, but literally you pick your platform, you post your content, there's a link button, you can attach pictures, you schedule the time, and boom, it's right there. It's all in Hootsuite. Matter of fact, I love YouTube. I can fix anything, build anything by going to YouTube, and you can too. Go, how to use Hootsuite 2019. There's a video. I guarantee there's 47 videos there right now that are free and will teach you step by step how to use it, right? And you don't have to pay for it or get a pro to do it. All right, some recommended reading, because most of this comes down to time management, gang, right? How do you do it? How do you do it? I'm doing it off my store. I'm doing it right now while I'm here. I'm doing it for other stores. I'm selling cars and buying cars. I'm training my staff. I'm hiring my people. I have 2 kids and a wife and a brand new kitten that keeps me up all night, but that's okay. So you have to manage your time. You have to have a process in place. The process is probably the easiest part of social media management, not like the last session where it's, you know, there's 97 parts. Get a calendar. Schedule the content. The content doesn't appeal to anyone, stop posting that type of content and find something else. It's not that difficult. You can take a picture of this, but I've read all these multiple times. Probably Scrum, the last book on this list for time management. If you're not a reader, it's in audio format too. It's amazing. It's almost, I wouldn't quite call it life-changing. That's pretty powerful, but it's pretty big when you're looking at time management. Productivity apps. You guys, how do you do that? How do you do that? Hey, these are my go-tos. Todoist, Trello. Trello's amazing. Slack, Evernote. I love Evernote. easily do InShot. InShot is my go-to, and I get the Pro Edition. I can do anything in ProShot. So we were talking about different sizes of different formats of different videos, right? You know, Instagram's a square. Facebook is what? It's a long ways, right? They want their videos now to scroll. They don't want a letterbox. I was taught to film videos like this. How about y'all? Because it looks like what? Your television or your desktop. Guess what people aren't using anymore? Desktops or televisions. How do you use Facebook? Like this, right? InShot will allow you to shoot a video, format it for this, and a square for Instagram. So you can use the same video twice. It's awesome. Pick, stitch, fuse, color pop. That's the color, black and white, the color pop with the fingers, super easy. Legend, Typorama, Mojo, and Canva. Woo! And that's all. How am I on time? Any questions? Are we over? We under? Right on. Oh man, I timed that out good, even though I never rehearsed that one time. Any questions? Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so good question. So the question was, Facebook just made some changes, so good for you for being up on that. They just made some recent changes about income and things like that, all right? Long story short, the best way is to take database with email addresses, dump it into Facebook, right? Create like audiences. Have you done that before? Yeah. All right. Create like audiences, and it already knows, it knows who you're dealing with already. So it's not even allowing you to have the lookalike audiences on that anymore. So are you just suggesting to use like their kind of alternative to that? Yeah, okay. And that's really all you can do. And they'll continue to change that because Zuckerberg went to the hill and that all got screwed up. Thanks. Appreciate that. It was easier and better, but yeah.
You said you spend some money. What do you usually spend in a month on your advertising, and what is your estimated return?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So it's the attorney's answer. It depends.
I love that answer, by the way.
It's good, right? Yeah, it depends. I use the same one in the closing office. Well, that depends. No, I'm joking. I did not say that. So at our traditional store, I spend $10,000 a month just on Facebook. However, we're seeing we're paying about 13 cents per lead. I don't know where you can get a lead for 13 cents, but it's still about ROI and conversion, hands down. We're about 13 cents per lead. It's about $72 per car sold, which is ridiculous. Any stats I've ever seen, right? And out of $10,000, we're seeing about well, I'll give you last month. Last month, we were $91,000 ROI on $10,000 spent. Would anybody else do that? However, .com, and this is the caveat to that, I spent tens of thousands screwing up and doing it wrong, but years ago. But now you dial that in. Don't start with that, by the way. You're like, oh, okay, that's the whole thing. You got to spend $10,000 to make it work. No, start $5, $5, whatever that ad is. You start at $5, do a 10 to 15 mile radius, whether it's a car, and I'm not anti-posting a car, but all that stuff works if it's right. I'm a big advocate of lead forms on Facebook because it pulls the information they signed up with over. That makes sense? So everybody signed up for Facebook if you're using it, right? You put your name, email address, phone number into Facebook, right? So when you create a lead form, it says, oh yeah, I need more information. And everybody's probably done this at some point in time. What happens to the information that they signed up with? It goes over to the lead form. And Facebook says, is this information right? Oh yeah, sure. Or no, let me change this. Lead forms are huge, especially if the information's right, because nobody wants to take time to change it. If the information's right, you got email address and phone number and a name right there. Yes?
Google Maps. Do you do anything with that? Any recommendations?
Google My Business?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a different thing altogether. It's not social. However, focus on Google My Business, make sure it's right. I'll give you a little thing right now that's indexing massive. We've talked about it in some of our private Facebook groups. They will allow you to upload photos to Google My Business of your business and put a small description. It's what, like 60 words, 50 words, something like that? Oh, and it's free. And it's Google. Post these cool little pictures and even inventory. If you have nothing else but inventory, post the car, 2012, so-and-so for sale in your town, USA, make sense, a zip code. And be consistent on that, 5, 8, 10 a day, whatever you can do. They'll also take short video clips, but I'm seeing zero indexing from video clips for some reason, which is odd, but they love the pictures. Anybody doing the pictures? You're killing it, and you're getting the reports that says 4,000 people saw this photo. I mean, it's pretty amazing. That'll go away, is my guess. But yes.
Are you doing green screen videos? And if so, what content do you use?
Yeah, so I'm not doing green screen videos, and I know there was a pro green screen presentation earlier. I'm not out on green screen. I personally, for me, and this is just me, I think people just rather see where you're at. You know, just be real, be authentic. You know, I'm kind of loud and out there, especially my commercials, and you know, that's just what we do and who we are and our personality. But content, look, how-to videos index like crazy on YouTube. How to change a flat tire, how to program. Oh my gosh, how to program your radio on a 2000 and whatever you're selling. That stuff, or this car versus videos does good too. Ford Fusion versus Toyota Camry videos, massive. And those are easy, right? That's what we do.
All right, I think this last question.
All right.
Tracy, if we're doing those how-to videos, do you recommend one a week, or is there any special sauce to that? I know that I did one and I didn't stay with it like I should have, like we all do. But they do work really well. Do you see a repetition that would work?
So, the official word from the people in the bigger places, right? They say consistency is key, but they don't define consistency. So my gut tells me if you're doing it once a day or every other day, just stay with that. But that's the official answer I've gotten. Be consistent or stay consistent. So whether it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would schedule it, and that's what we do, right? Because part of it's probably my age, because we were used to, oh my God, that TV show comes on at, it's after school, I got to get in at 3 o'clock because Brady Bunch comes on. It's all reruns, by the way. I wasn't really there, but I'm just telling you, that's what we used to watch, reruns. We had 3 channels. Brady Bunch is on at 3, right? So you had to run in the house. Well, part of my brain's programmed that way. So if I'm doing that video, why not drop it every morning at 10 a.m.? So your fans, your diehard fans, they know that video is going to drop every morning at 10, and it can't hurt for everybody else. So you kind of two trains of thought, but that's a guess. The real answer to your question is they just say be consistent. So whenever you're dropping them, just keep doing it. One a week, I guess that's fine. There's a lot of industry guys and girls doing videos. It was the Think Tank Tuesday type stuff, right? And they did like a lot of us do. They started it, and it's every Tuesday at 9, and then they go on the road, and then it's 1 o'clock today. Sorry, well, now it's going to be Think Tank Thursday because we didn't film our video, and people, they tune out. But I'm here through the rest of the day. If you have any questions, I think he said we got to go. Yeah, he said cut it. I'm long, but I'll be here. Feel free to ask me any question you want to. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know the answer. All right. Thank you.